Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome, everybody, to another episode of Positive Talk. Now, I've got a unique thing that we're going to be doing today that is a little scary, so I hope that everybody stays with me for the entire hour because I've got two, I venture to say, lovely ladies who both know me, and we're going to be talking about me. But first, I got to do this. This is a shout out to the LA Delta team. They do cross flights around the country, and they listen to us when we are 40,000 or 30,000 feet in the air. So I wanted to say hello to Randy and the LA Delta team. So I wanted to get that out first, and now we're going to introduce Dana Parker. She's been on the show before, and she's a co-host, and she works with me on Friday, and she does some great things. And we're also bringing in my associate that I've worked with for the last couple of years and continue with. She's adorable, and does anybody ever wonder why I surround myself with pretty women? I wonder about that from time to time. In any event, Holly Berry is with us, and the subject of this show is for you to have a chance to get to know a little bit more about Positive Talk, a little bit more about me, why we do what we do. And these two people know probably more about me than certainly my family does, and certainly my children. And so they're two people that are I think would be really a fun episode for them to ask questions of things that they may not know about me or what I'm doing here or why in the world we're doing a show called Positive Talk. And so with that, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to turn it over to Dana Parker. Dana Parker, how are you?
Hey, doing good. I'm happy to be here. As usual, I love being here, and that's why you guys hear me?
We're experiencing technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. And she is now, it's a pretty face that she's frozen up on. No, okay.
Oh, Dana, I wish I could remote in and fix the internet for you there. It's been so long since I've been able to connect with you. So my name is Holly Berry. I get to co-host with Kevin McDonald every once in a while. And this notification for this show I had 1 hour previous. So I will do my best to think of questions that relate to things that I might not know about you, but also questions about things I do know about you so that your new listeners can get to know you. And based off of the introduction, since the show is helping to answer the questions of why are we here? What am I doing here? What is my purpose in life? Why don't we start with that? What is your purpose in life, Kevin McDonald?
This is it.
And for people that are just tuning in for the first time, what is this and what is it?
Well, to do this, I have to go back to the very beginning, not of my life, but of the changes that happened. I was sitting with my family. I'm not sure I've told you this story. I was sitting with my family on Thanksgiving, and we were at my sister's house. And my brother and my mother are fundamentalist Christians, and we were talking about the afterlife and what happens and where we go. And my mother's biggest thing was you get to eat anything you want in the afterlife.
Now that sounds good. That means pumpkin pie every night for me.
Exactly. And but nobody could really describe what it is that we are doing there or here. Their thoughts were that we're just here to worship, and my thoughts were there's got to be more. And so I left their house, went to another friend's house, and we started talking about, because it was really heavy on my mind. What am I here to do? I mean, I had the management career, I had the house, had the dog, had the cat, had the kids, had the wife, and all that stuff, but I wasn't particularly happy or fulfilled. So why was I really here? What was I really here to do? And so they looked at each other, my two friends, and they said, we've been having the same conversation. So apparently, I discovered that in everybody's life, at one point or another, you reach the conclusion of, why am I really here? What am I here to do? What is my purpose in life? And how am I going to achieve all of that to the best of my ability? And so we decided that we were going to go in search of, you remember that Leonard Nimoy, the show In Search of?
No, but I know Star Trek that had, I think, Leonard Nimoy on it, and the great, like, the great expanse and going where no man has gone before.
Exactly. Well, and in search of, he was in search of different different aspects of life and things, and so he narrated that. But I wanted to find we wanted to find out what was out there, what was more, because I grew up in a Lutheran household, and so um it wasn't appropriate for us to talk about meditation. We didn't talk about, certainly there's nothing about past lives, and our soul was not as important to us then. And so anyway, I really wanted to find out some of these things. So we started learning about meditation, and we learned about spirit guides and different aspects of our lives here in humanity. And we did that for about a year, and it became, I learned about how to visualize things and to do, and I learned that there was a lot more going on than what I had been told. And so it became very interesting for me. And then one day he came to me and said we should do a television show, and I had no idea. Holly, I honestly, at that point in time, I had absolutely no idea how I was going to live my life differently, other than I was going to work to be kinder and more generous and those sorts of things. But I had really no clear direction of what I was going to do or how I was going to get there. And so honestly, I remember this conversation, he on the phone. He said, we really need to do a television show to talk to about everything that we're learning. And I said, well, that's fine. I'll try and look into it. Couldn't do television, but we could do radio. And so that was the beginning. I found a radio station that we could buy a couple hours a week on. And then we started doing our show, and we started talking to other people about what it was that we were after. Originally, the show was called Spirit Talk. And we had a psychic medium on. We had beginning to have energy workers and beginning to understand a little bit more about it. So consequently, over the course of time, I found that I loved doing radio. It was impactful to people. I could really educate folks and learn myself at the same time. So I had some really important people like Neil Donald Walsh and some others, and it just became this rolling ball that you've been caught in the last couple of years of, but it's been continually evolving and changing and moving. Can you believe where we were 2 years ago versus where we are today?
Yeah, it's night and day. For the new people listening, do you want to give a little bit of broad strokes from that origin story to where we're at now?
Yeah. So where we're at now is I've done two podcasts in the last 4.5 years. One was my Independence Report, and that's got 450 episodes. And Positive Talk has over 800 episodes. And we also were on the Brushwood Media 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, which was a dream of mine to get back into a syndicated radio situation where we could put together a radio show. And so we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram and X and all of those guys. Well, of course, Twitter is X, so never mind. But we are continuing to move, continuing to grow. We've had some wonderful people that we're talking to and have interviewed, and I just love what I do. Um, I'm retired now from my day job, so this is now my day job.
So if someone wants to go directly to Positive Talk Radio, how do they do that?
They want to go to positivetalkradio.net is the site. You can also get there by going to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald or Positive Talk with Kevin, and that'll all take you to the same place.
So back to those two original questions that you have in your opening. So if that's your purpose, what's different between your purpose and why you're here? Because they're not exactly the same thing, but what do you perceive to be the difference?
Well, to understand why we're here, we have to understand how we got here, I think. And how we got here was we were on the other side and we had a plan. And it was somebody's plan, but I like to think it was our plan of what we were going to do while we were here, which leads into your purpose, of the purpose of why you're here, if that makes any sense.
I love it. It's so much fun to learn about individuals' different belief systems and culture and upbringing and background and, socioeconomics, things that affect them. And your show is worldwide, so there's a ton of people listening. And it's always fun to include like an educational component in shows. So we're not only feeding the inspiration and the entertainment, but we're also educating as well. Do you remember the term ikigai that I've talked about before in the past?
Remind me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then does this video interview sharing link let me screen share?
Yes.
All right, let's see. So ikigai,
If you go to present.
present. Okay, so I'll go entire screen. And I'm hitting share screen. I am not getting an option. I do see the share button, but it's grayed out, so I don't have that option. So I'll just read for you. Although visuals are always super fun with this. So ikigai is Japanese, and it's the secret to finding your purpose and your meaning. And it has 4 circles. So it's a Venn chart, and the circles all overlap. So the 4 circles include number 1, things you love. Number 2, what the world needs. Number 3, what you can be paid for. And number 4, what you are good at. So each one of these circles not only touches the other 3 circles, but all 4 circles overlap into the middle. And so with what the world needs, that overlaps with what you can get paid for as a vocation. When it's what the world needs with what you love, that's your mission in life. And when it's what you love overlapping with what you're good at, that's your passion in life. When it's what you're good at overlapping with what you can be paid for, it's your profession. So it's really fun. It's really easy to Google. It's spelled Ikigai. And with the Japanese culture, it's way older than American culture. So it's really fun to see how built out and how much intricacy there is in that. And when I went through a midlife crisis years ago, and I was asking those same questions, like, well, what's my purpose? Like, why am I here? What can I do to, survive and get paid, but also not lose, the joy of waking up in the morning? And I stumbled upon Ikigai. And so I took the 4 circles and just a blank sheet of paper, drew it out, and then filled in all the circles with things that I was either good at or I could get paid for, and found, where some things overlapped. So for all our listeners out there, if you want a interactive practice that is specific to you and your, individual abilities and wishes and wants and needs, feel free to Google Ikigai, and you can print out one of those blank little sheets with 4 circles on it, and you can fill it in for yourself.
That's really good advice. That's really good right there.
Very cool. Well, how many shows do you have currently for Positive Talk Radio?
800. Well, I'm not exactly sure, quite frankly. I think around 800.
And what's one of the most recent ones that you did that you really enjoyed?
Well, my problem is, Holly's, I enjoy all of them. I enjoy talking.
That's a good problem to have.
It really is, because people say, why are you so happy all the time? And it's because I really love doing this, and I really love talking to people, and be it the guys that have a book out about dead rock stars. I did that one just the other day. Or a psychic medium that talks about life, or somebody that is a energy healer, or somebody that is a coach, or somebody that just the different aspects of humanity that we all bring to the table, that they interest me greatly. I'm not an, as Forrest Gump would say, I'm not an educated man, but I do know a lot of stuff about a lot of different things. Not I don't have a PhD or a master's or any of that stuff, but I do know great questions to ask, and I'm curious about things that I don't know. So all the episodes that I do, be they there are some metaphysical episodes, there are authors, there are people that are nutritionists and trainers, and just a broad range of folks, which some in the world think that I need to niche down more, but I it's hard for me to do that. I enjoy talking to everybody.
Yeah, it can be really hard to niche when it's so much fun to learn about just anyone and everyone that you can connect with and get that dedicated, interview time with. Some of your favorite shows that I've been able to hear had like a race car driver. There was a gal there were a couple different people that were specializing in artificial intelligence. There's been financial coaches. There was one gentleman, and I can't remember what his degree was in, but he specialized in sustainable food in third world countries, and had deep dived into them being able to eat bugs, because the bugs were the protein that was readily available there. And I think there was like a book or a research study on it. There was that gal, and I can't remember if she was a doctor or not, but she saved her husband's life by using phages to kill infection, I think, because they didn't have an antibiotic for it. And that was incredible. So she like networked globally with people in the military and
Oh,
other.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, just an incredible story. So there's been a lot of really fun episodes over the years. The current ones I can see on your most recent landing page, we have Author's Tales by Erica John. We have Innovative Activator, Seth Detland, if I'm saying that right. Essential Read, an unmissable book by Kim Langling. You got
and just so you know, Kim Langling, she is and Dana. Or by the way, Dana has rejoined us, and we're hoping that she's going to be able to stay with us this time.
Yeah, sorry, there's a windstorm happening out here, and it's making things a little unstable.
I understand completely, but what I loved about Kim Langling is that when you get into talking to people about what it is that they do, and then you find out so much more about what they do. One of the things that she does, and you've heard me talk about it, I think you both have, the nuggets of hope. And for those of you who haven't heard this, what she does is she has gone out and bought polished black rocks, and they have a gold lettering of hope on them. And so she'll walk around her community, and when she sees somebody who appears to be not having a great day, is not smiling. She'll literally walk up to somebody and say, I think that you need this today. And she'll just drop this little rock, this nugget of hope into their hand and turn around and walk away. And when she does that, it just, that's the kind of thing that I like to promote, because if we all did that, we wouldn't have time to hate each other and stuff. So each person, and then she also works with the VA and with the a local group, and she sends out packages to soldiers overseas, and hundreds of them a month. And so I didn't know any of that when I first started talking to her. And so it's, you find out just incredible things about people. I found out in by talking with both of you, the incredible lives that you both have, and doing the things that you're doing, and how special each of us is in our own way. And I think that's really cool. Personally.
I'd love to know how you and Dana met, now that we got Dana here.
Yeah.
Dana, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, Kevin, you can explain, and then I'll just ask.
Okay. Well, there was a guy. His name was Brent
Satterfield.
Satterfield, and he wrote a book which is called
Bringing Heaven Home.
Bringing Heaven. Thank you very much. I'd forgotten that. And so I interviewed him on the show. I don't know how I got a hold of him or he got a hold of me, but I interviewed him, and he was partnering up with several people, one of which was Dana. And so he said, there's this girl that I think would be really good. She's a coach, and she's intuitive, and she's outstanding. I think you'd love her. And she's 6 feet tall. And so, no, she didn't say that.
I love that little tag on that.
So typical. She's 6 feet tall, just so you know.
So we got in touch with one another, and then you came on the show, and take it from there. What did you think of the first show that we did?
Yeah, it was a really interesting experience from my perspective, because one of the joys of my life is meeting people and feeling that familiar feeling of like, I just feel like I knew this person before I came here. And I think that's such a magical part of life. I think they're love notes from God is what I call them. And when I listened to Kevin's show before I came on, I was like, I think Kevin and I think we're gonna be friends. I just get this feeling, and when I get feelings like that, I'm always like, I'm open to potential possibility. It doesn't have to happen that way, but it was such a fun experience, such a fun, natural friendship interaction, and there was so much good that came from that, and just felt this Kevin, you have such a caring soul, genuine caring, this feeling, how to really make people feel valued and seen. And that's one of the things that I really love about you. You are a champion for people. And at that time in my life, I was transitioning in so many ways. Mostly one of the big ones was through my divorce. And so to have somebody who was really a champion for me and in my court it was just so helpful. And so then from there, it was like, I don't even remember all the details of how it happened. But from there, it was like, let's do another one. And then let's do another. Wait, do you want to do another one? Wait, should we do this regularly? And it was such a fun experience.
There are people that I, first of all, I legitimately, and a lot of people don't buy this, but I generally love everybody. But there are more, there are people that I love more because they're special to me. And both of you qualify for that. Now, Holly, do you want to tell people how we met?
I mean, I could if you want.
Well,
but I think like I like the way you tell it better, because to me it was just work. So it's not like special. Yeah, like it was special that I met you, but the like in the moment memory is not like sparkly or anything, but for you it is. So
well, you have to remember that when you are, and Dana, you can verify this, when you open yourself up to possibilities and you accept that anything is possible for you to be out there. And then when something like that happens and you don't poo-poo it and you accept that, then great things can happen. I'll give you an example. My mother died. Now, that is a sad story to be sure, but it led me to Holly because in the story is very interesting because Holly worked for a funeral director, and the funeral director had helped my sister and her sister-in-law put her husband, I can't say put him down. He was already down, but he was to help bury him and to handle those arrangements. And so my sister knew of this person. I can't remember her name, but and it's not important. But so my sister called her, and they made the arrangements for my mom and stuff. And then we were going to meet with her, my sister and I, to talk about the arrangements and what had to be done and the steps that had to be taken to put it all together. And she called my sister, who then called me that day and said, "I'm not available for the meeting, but I have an associate who is available for the meeting, and her name is Holly." And so, as a funeral director, we got onto Zoom, and I was, had my headphones and my microphone, and she was just naturally curious as to, you look like you do this more than just once in a while. What are you doing? And so I explained that I have a podcast and that I do, and was contemplating going back on the radio, and well, this is what I do. And she said, "Well, that's very interesting. What's the name of your podcast?" So at that time, I gave it to her and she wrote it down. And she, at that moment, was also in school for a business degree. And she was getting to the end of school, but she didn't think that the timeline was a little fuzzy as to when all the accreditations and all this, everything was going to be done. So it was going to either be like, this was in July. So it was either going to be like her timeline at that time was September, October, November, around in there. And so we talked, and then I don't remember. I think, Holly, didn't we decide that we were going to talk again at one point, or was this a continuation of the putting my mother down?
Sure. Yeah, I can help take it from there from that point. So after all the final affairs for your mom had been taken care of, I waited a little while, and then I think like a few weeks after that, I messaged you and I said, "Hey, I had a chance to go listen to one of your podcasts and I loved it. If you ever want to interview me, I would be more than happy to be interviewed." And so we did one remote interviewing. And then after that, you scheduled an in-person in the radio network station studio, an interview.
That's right.
Yeah, and you also had a couple of your acquaintances there. So one of them was really into music and had written like a whole production CD type thing, and they played music from that. And you had another friend that was more into like the local history around Seattle, and he was in there as well. And it was a really fun live show. And you took us out to eat afterward, which was so kind of you. And it was you guys are just like the peanut gallery. It was nothing but nonstop laughs. And at that point, I was even closer to graduating. And I was like, you know what? If you're looking for help, you seem like an amazing person to work with and for, and I would be definitely interested. Here's my information. And then it kind of went from there.
It was, I believe, just like my meeting with Dana, it was all preordained. It was designed to happen the way it did. And I had the opportunity to say, "No, I don't think so," or to poo-poo it, but you just allow those things to happen, and great things can happen. Now, Holly and I have been together over 2 years now.
Yeah, I
And
think it was official in the end of 2021, if that sounds. Yeah, I graduated 2021 in the autumn, and so it was shortly after that we onboarded.
Yeah, and all this time, Dana and I were having the occasional show, and I was watching her grow in her own way. She is totally different today than she was when we first started,
That's
and she
true.
is much more grounded in who she is.
Mhm.
She's is now able to help people in an amazing way, and
Mhm.
she is just awesome. And Holly continues, and I learned more about Holly because she's also a floral designer. She's got her own business, and she is really, really talented at those sorts of things. And she also we put together a TV pilot, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah,
And
yeah, if Dana hasn't seen it yet, we should help get her to it. So, Kevin's parent company is a media company. So even though he has positivetalkradio.net, the show, behind that is a media company with production, audio, video, editing, like all this stuff. And as part of that, and because I know him, Bloom TV Network, like approved my company for a like submitting a pilot TV episode. And I approached Kevin and I was like, I don't want to do this unless it helps your company, because otherwise it's just video recording of me and a cell phone. But if we do it through your media company and use your editing skills that your company has, like we could actually make a real TV episode. And we did. It took like 6 months altogether, between planning it, scheduling it, finding the right people, filming it. And then like we even had someone with a drone. We even had a doctor as part of the content matter expert. And then once it was all patched together and edited, we sent it off to Bloom TV Network, and it's still there. It's called Wellness Blooms, and Kevin does the most amazing voiceovers on it.
there again, I've been blessed with all the people that I've met, and because I have discovered my purpose. And it was interesting. I started doing radio in 2003, and I'd been an actor in my early days and had done a little DJ work and stuff. But I really found that I really loved what I did. But if you listen to the shows that I did in 2003, my voice is so much better now than it was then, which is kind of weird. Um, but so doing the voiceovers was really a lot of fun and stuff. But I wanted before we run out of time, I want to I believe in being an open book. And so I would love for you, and we'll start with Holly, or whoever wants to go first. I would love for you to describe to our audience why they should listen to Positive Talk and what my best attributes as an interviewer slash host slash person are, and then we'll talk about the other side. Who
Sure,
wants
I
to go
can.
first?
I can go first. So one of the coolest parts about listening to the show is you never know what you're gonna get. And so if you like broad spectrum variety, if you get bored of really niche down content, this show is perfect because it kind of takes you on a world tour of all kinds of professions and all kinds of people, all kinds of specialities and things you didn't even know existed before. One of the things that I think was so special for me being an interviewee on the early episodes with Kevin was that there was this, I was nervous as well, but there was just this like really warm, friendly, like you were walking into someone's living room and having a cup of coffee with someone. You didn't feel like you were walking up on a stage in front of a million people, even though when they're on your show now, that is what's happening. And I remember even like tapping my pen on the table and not realizing I was doing it because I was just so nervous. And he was so gentle. He was like, I hear a little bit of a tapping noise. Can you please, like the audio, the microphone. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but it was just so relaxed and so pleasant. And so it felt very warm and inviting, even though it was an interview and you are getting asked questions that you don't expect because he doesn't really script the stuff either.
It's true.
Surprise.
Very
Dana?
true. True about all of that. I completely agree. And the thing that I want to add and piggyback on is Kevin is born for community. A lot of the work that I do and the coaching that I do has a lot to do with each individual's unique design, their purpose of why they're actually here, what they're here to do. And so I want to really speak to that variety. Kevin is here for the collective community. That is what he's here for. He's here to gather unique individuals and create a platform for all kinds of people and variety and people to share. That is his soul's purpose. And so he's fulfilling that through this podcast, which is so beautiful to see. And I think it's why he attracts so many different types of people, because it's for him. It's how he uniquely expresses himself and why he's here. So, and that variety is really fun, I think, to never know what you're going to get and to get such a variety of topics and ideas and different things. But Kevin is also here to be a champion for the collective, for the people, to put out positive media and to be a positive voice in the world and to lift other souls that are here to do that on a big scale. That's Kevin. That is like what you're here. You were born for it. It is just naturally you. And so to see you fulfilling that, and then also the ability to raise others in the process. I was talking to my good friend the other day about how amazing would it be to be Oprah, where you can literally like take any person that you really value and see the value of their work, and you just boom, you can just help skyrocket their career in one interview. And Kevin is creating this platform. It is not a selfish reason. It is not so Kevin's famous. It's not so Kevin can be the star of the show. No, it is to uplift and inspire and to get others connected to those people who are in business and want to have a voice. That's the champion of Kevin. And so that is the point of the show, is to bring that forth and to help uplift other people. And to me, I'm like, that's the new type of leadership. That is a very, I just love that. I can get behind that. I can support that. I love that type of leadership. So that's why I continue to still show up.
Well, and I thank you for showing up. You add a lot to it. But now Holly has also got some things that are character flaws of mine. Would you like to talk about those at all, Holly?
I don't think you want me to. But I do appreciate that you put up with my character flaws as well. Like I can be like really direct and honest because it saves time, and I forget that people's little feelings are right there along with the time. So he's very, very forgiving as well.
Well, but I'm also a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's perfect.
Well, but part of that is I have a firm belief, and Dana's absolutely right. My job is to provide as big a platform as I can so that the people who need to be heard can be heard in a bigger way. It doesn't mean that we go after famous people, because famous people are just people, and there are people that nobody knows about. I mean, as an example, both of you are extraordinarily talented at what you do, and in the people that you are, and you need to be seen. You need to be heard. Holly, your work needs to be shown. Dana, your coaching abilities and the person that you are, that all needs to be given as broad a platform as we can muster. And we are now getting to that point where we are going to have, I mean, I just got a message at the start of the show from a pilot at Delta Airlines that we were being listened to on the air, in the air at 30,000 feet. That is so cool. And we are touching people that we never thought that we would be able to touch. And it's continuing to evolve. And that's what really makes me happy.
I have a question.
Hi.
So now that you've hit 1+ million listeners, it seems like the type of sponsors that you'll accept might be a little more exclusive. Do you have ideas on what kind of sponsors you'd be willing to consider?
I want people. I want to promote sponsorships of people that are interested in helping the planet, and if that is natural ingredients, natural ideas, nutritionists, people that coaches, schools of people that have a positive school of thought that they would like to get out into a bigger way, and even um, programs and people that will benefit humanity in any way that we can do that. The sad thing is that there's a lot of those folks don't have a great deal of money, but they would like to be able to move forward and to get a bigger platform. So we don't need to. The beautiful thing about where we're at is that I don't need to charge a ton of money just to keep going. The big thing is to keep going. And so we're interested in helping humanity be better and to focus on those folks. So, I'm if you are interested in creating something great along with us, because we know our greatness. The three of us sitting here, we know how great we are. We were all born great. But if you are interested in helping humanity heal, this is going to be a tough year for everybody. If you're interested in helping humanity heal, then join us. Become our partner, not just a sponsor, not just an advertiser. Join us. Become our partner. Thank you for letting me say that.
Absolutely.
So, one of the questions that I have, but I'm wondering, have we gone to really, like, Kevin, why? Like, why do you do this? Why do you care so much? And why are you investing so much of your time and energy into creating a platform, this passion behind creating a space? Like, what does it do for Kevin McDonald to keep pursuing this?
Well, first of all, it gives me energy. It gives my life purpose. It gives it and it talking to people like the two of you sitting here, it fills my soul. So it's like if I were to um if meditation was my thing and I love to meditate and I did it 12 hours a day or 10 hours a day, I could do this 10 hours a day, every day, because I love people. I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh, but I also love to have a deep sense of belonging to all of humanity. And I get to do that here in no other way than by doing this, because I'm told that there are at any given time, 50,000 people listening.
That's
Or
actually a really good point. So, something for all of you listeners out there right now, if you're trying to understand or tell the difference between something that you're doing that takes a lot of energy, if it's like working for you or in your best interest, purpose-filled actions, even though you might be physically tired by the end of the day, you mentally feel uplifted. So for me, for a natural design, when I go work a 12-hour shift in a warehouse, just with, clippers and buckets and flowers, and by the end of the day, I am beat, but I come home happy. And so that can be one way a measuring stick that you can use for yourself as well, to kind of double check and say, am I in the right zone? Am I kind of on the right path? Am I doing something that lifts me up and, fills my buckets emotionally?
I have to tell you just a real quick story that when I was young and I got into the restaurant business, and one of the things I did, I was able to be a host. And my job was to, when somebody came in, and in those days it was, "Hi, how are you? Would you like smoking or non?" Now it's all non. We don't, the smoking sections are gone now. And, but I would leave that job after I was done saying, I made a difference in somebody's life. I saw I could make them smile. And enjoyed meeting with them and taking them to their place and then taking their money and making them feel warm about that. And that I guess it's and Dana says that that's in my chart. That's
Yeah.
just the way I am.
Yes.
I can't help it.
And that really brings up another good point that those of you that are listening to this, whether it be when it posts live, whether it be years later, we want to hear. We want to hear your experience. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your comments. Like, please, taking that time, it's one of the best, like, soul satisfying experiences to read some of these emails that we're starting to receive, to hear people's experiences. We want to hear, is there topics you guys want to hear about, you want to talk about? Like, we are doing this. This is in service for you. And so we will take all of that feedback and just trust me, when I put feedback of what I like, Kevin, wouldn't it be so fun to interview Neil Donald Walsh? Well, Kevin made that happen. Like, how cool is that? He cares so much and really does care about the topics that you're interested in too. And he wants to create and collaborate and create specific for you. So that's one of the unique things I think about this show, is it's not just Kevin's agenda. It is like, what can we do to really serve the people that are listening? What can we do to serve them and their needs, and put out such a variety of topics, because there's a variety of listeners. That some tools, some people are going to be like, oh, that meditation one was amazing. And others are going to be like, oh my gosh, that life coach that rocked my world. Or that astrologist, that was really great golden nugget for me. And knowing that, like, Kevin understands that there's such a variety of people showing up to listen. And so we bring a variety of topics. And so reach out, let us know, let Kevin know if there's a topic you want to hear more about, because he really does care.
Kevin at KMmedia.pro is how you can get a hold of me easily. And Dana, you're right. The biggest compliment that I've received of late is I had a listener who had been on the show, but she listened on a regular basis, and she said, the reason I listen to you is because I never know what you're gonna say.
Right. Right.
And it can change on a dime. I've had people on the show multiple times. Each show is different. And we get into like Dana, you've been on the show, I don't know, maybe just me interviewing you maybe a dozen times, but each show is different and they're very impactful in their own way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Holly, you the same.
I just found out recently from one of your shows that there's like a women rally race car driver. Is it a group or a collective, or?
That is Dirt Fish Rally School, and they have the gal that I interviewed is she's the daughter of the owner, and she has taken it upon herself to create a women driving school, and for women who had been in, as an example, had an accident and were scared to get back on the road, or people that loved the rally racing and stuff like that. But it was women focused and women, because you got your guys' life is hard enough as it is. We need to make it as positive as possible, because I admire all of you, because quite frankly, I know both of your stories, which is very similar to everybody else's story. And at one point in time, both of you were abused. At one point in time, you both had challenges, and it's incumbent upon all of us to lift each other up and to help us get through those things. And that's what I want the show to be able to do, is to say, look, Dana's been through it, Holly's been through it, but they've come out the other side and they are extraordinary people. And you don't have to give up life. You don't have to give up who you really are. You can do it. And that's the kind of thing that really energizes me.
Oh, I love it. Well, and I don't know about Dana, but I'm gonna guess, because you're a coach, if people need resources, we're happy to look up resources for any situation so that people know that they're not alone no matter where they're at.
Absolutely.
And one of my biggest ones is 988. That's a national hotline that people can call if they're having problems, if they're feeling depressed or suicidal. You know, and I don't think I've told you guys this, but I've witnessed 2 suicides in my life.
No,
And
I hadn't heard that.
and one of them was when on 4th of July when I was in my early 20s, and a my wife at the time's brother's brother who was having problems with his wife, and he said he left a note saying, "I'm going out with a bang on 4th of July."
Mm.
And so
Ouch.
he did not realize how many people cared about him. And so I got a call from my brother-in-law and my future brother-in-law, and he said, "Can you come with me? We need to go and search for this guy."
Mm.
So we found his car. Somebody found his car on a just a 2-lane road that had foliage everywhere, and it was like going up a hill on both sides. There was um, um, a dirt road on one of them, and stuff. And so we broke up into teams because we saw his car, so we knew he was close. We thought he was close, and we started looking for him. And so we were walking around, and my brother-in-law, I said, "Let's walk this way." So we started walking that way, and then I saw some foliage that had been disturbed going up the hill. And I said, "Let's walk up to the top of the hill through the foliage here and see what happens." We got probably 30 or 40 yards up the hill, and there was a loud bang.
Mm.
And we had a flashlight, so we moved a little bit, and there was his body. We were walking up on him at the very moment that he decided to take his own life.
Oh.
um, when we thought he had a handgun, but he had a 30-30, and he quite literally blew his head off.
Mhm, mhm. Wow.
And what I got from that story was when I came down after the police got done with us and all of that, his family was there. They invited us over to his house. There were 20 or 30 people there who were absolutely devastated by this man's choice that he'd made in life. And he did not realize, couldn't have, how many people really loved him.
Mhm.
And because he was in a bad state and bad way. And the lesson I got is that you don't know how many people actually love you and who care for you. And so never assume that you're all alone. And if you feel like you're all alone, come listen to the radio. Come talk to us.
Mhm,
We'll figure it
mhm,
out for you. Go to 988. It's too important. We can't afford to lose quality people. And that's
mhm,
so, but that's part of my education and my experience story on how to make it better.
mhm.
Yeah, that 988 number is a suicide and crisis lifeline. It's available 24 hours a day in English and Spanish.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening, and I hope this means something to somebody. I know Holly is being the busy person that she is. She's got to leave here in a minute, um, and I think Holly, is there anything that you would like to add or say before we turn you loose on the
I
world?
am excited. I'm excited about the growth. I'm excited that you're now reaching people in the skies. And it sounded like even at the screens at gas station pumps and all over the world and different languages in other countries. And I am so stoked to see where this goes from here because this is just the first few years of relaunching. So
And it's going to be a lot. I believe my mission is to create the largest platform I can so that when we have people on, like, Gary Zukav, who's coming on the show in March, he was on Oprah, and his book Seed of the Soul sold 1 million copies because he was on Oprah, and he was on her show, and because of the reach and the ability that she has to affect things. And I want to be able to help people do that, so that when I have somebody like Holly or a Dana that comes on my show, that people can respond in a positive way to who you are, and to reach out and to utilize your services and your help.
I want to invite Terrell Rothery back from Stargate. She was a hoot.
Oh yeah, I would love to have her back. And there's just so many. And I've conducted over 2,000 interviews in the last couple of years, and it's just really important. And there's so many great people. That's what we're focused on the negative. And there's so many icky and stuff, but there's a lot of great people that are trying to do the right thing out there, and I want to support them.
I agree.
Well said, sir.
Well said.
So Holly, you may be excused, and Dana, before we go, is there anything that you would like to add before we quit?
No, just continue to listen, continue to tune in, because there's going to be such a variety of wonderful topics and wonderful things, and we're here to serve. Reach out. We want to hear from you. We love hearing from you. It really is. It makes this work soul satisfying. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in and letting us live out our purpose and service to you.
That's a bumper sticker right there. Live your soul purpose. I love that. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here. This is really, I am the luckiest man alive. And the longer I'm alive, the luckier I am.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's working out great for me. So Holly, thank you so much. You are darling. Dana, thank you so much. You're a special lady. And by the way, Inner World Movement, or Inner World Movement, and go talk to Dana, and she can help you. Holly Berry, the Natural Design is her company.
Yes, anaturaldesign.com.
And she is phenomenal at what she does. So, and I should know, because my ex-wife was a floral designer for 15 years. Never got anywhere near as good as you.
Lots of fun stuff. And there's a link to Bloom TV Network there too, if people like all things floral and want to hear Kevin's perfect, like it was National Geographic level narration. It was awesome.
Well, and I thank you. And I thank you both. And with that, I got nothing more. So here we go. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. We are a production of KMmedia.pro, a full-service media company. Whether it is audio, video, shorts, or longer pieces, we're able to take each project from beginning to final product within your time frame and on budget. Visit KMmedia.pro for more details about us and to get started on your project. We also would like to thank the Brushwood Media Network for all their support. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com to find out more about them and the quality shows featured on the network. Until then, we'll see you next time. My name again is Kevin McDonald, and please remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got.